Rev up your engines! All right, today we got an 05, it's a late 04, so it's 05, Ford Focus ZX4. Hey, the guy got it for nothing. He's put 130-something thousand miles on it since then. He can't complain now. He's getting some kind of shaking in the back we're gonna check out. But let's take an overall look at this car to begin with. The Focus is with the dual clutch transmissions, the automatics. They're basically a dual clutch standard transmission that a computer automatically shifts. With rolling piles of crap, Ford either had to buy them back or fix them, but that was 2012. This is a 2005. It's got a relatively bulletproof automatic transmission. It's not all fancy. It is a regular automatic transmission. It's not a dual clutch. Look, this thing's got 200-something thousand miles on it. It's still working perfectly fine. If you're looking at a 2012 up Focus, run away. Don't even think about buying it. They were garbage. But these older ones, as we look under the hood, a nice 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. With a regular automatic transmission, this thing isn't burning oil now, but realize it has normal fuel injectors. There they are, not GDI. It doesn't have a turbocharger on it. Like you say, he got it free about 120-something thousand miles, and he uses it as a commuting car to go into Nashville every day. Puts mileage on it, but it still goes. Sure, the clear coat is fading away, but it still runs. These were decent, cheap transportation cars. Ford's problem was, when they put those dual clutch transmissions in, they just doomed them. They were too complex. People didn't know how to fix them. They broke down all the time. So you're looking at 2012 or newer Focus, run away. But these old ones, they've been taken care of. It's another story. And check this out, the AC still works on it. It doesn't overheat. So let's take a look inside. It wasn't a Econo box car. No arguing that. But fabric seats, even though they sunk a little, and he's a pretty thin guy. Everything wears out eventually. But hey, still in decent shape there. We look at the back. The back seats are in excellent shape. Probably nobody ever sat in the things. And sure, the paint on the hood is fading like mad. Clear coat's all coming off. Let's start her up. Starts up, yeah, a little hesitation, but it's an old car. The AC's still blowing cold. Sure, the cigarette lighter's gone. But, like I say, the AC still blows. He's got an aftermarket Kenwood stereo in the thing. We'll put it in gear. Still idles pretty smooth. Now he says at high speeds, he thinks this starts wobbling around a little, so first we'll push on it. Not particularly bad. It's not bouncing like mad. So let's jack her up in the air and take a look here. Now in the case of this car, it's still got its jack points there, and it's not rusted. If you got a really rusty one, if you try this, you might find the whole thing will start crunching. In that case, don't jack it up here. Find another place. Okay, now we're off the ground, and we're going to spin the tire. I'm looking to see if the tire's out of round. It's not out of round. It doesn't have any particular play either. The bearing's okay. So let's check out the shock back here. We'll get a little light on it. There's the shock going up. Is it wet? Check it. It's not leaking or anything on this side. And as we look around, there aren't any particular things that are broken or anything. But now we're going to look at the tire tread. Let's look at that tread. And you can see the very inside here is going bald. And the outside's going bald, even though the middle's got tread. Plus, when I spin it around, what do I see? Hey, right here, there's a nail in the tire. Now, as we check the pressure, because this has a nail, this is 22.5 pounds. The other side is 33. That's going to make it act up just the pressure differential. But, as he mentioned, this keeps happening. Those tires aren't that old. They keep wearing down. Now, we're going to check these tires. Now, these tires on the left rear, they're perfectly fine. They aren't wearing uneven. Now, of course, putting air in the tire will make it less of a problem. There'll be even pressure, but the right rear tire keeps wearing out. That shows me that the alignment on the right rear tire is off. People talk about front wheel alignment. Well, with front wheel drive cars, there's also rear wheel alignment. A lot of guys never mess with it, but the right rear one is off somewhat. and that's making the tire wear out too fast. And of course, the nail isn't helping it any, because now it's got 10 pounds less than the other side, and of course it's going to start wobbling around. Now he noticed that when he bought the new tire, the problem goes away for a while, and it comes back, because since the alignment's wrong in that right rear, the tire's riding wrong, and it's wearing out the edges. And then once it wears out the edges, guess what? Your tire is no longer in balance, so it's going to wobble more. The nail was just the tip of the iceberg in this case. Fix the tire, but I would advise before doing anything, we're going to put air in it. Take it to a good front end alignment shop that does rear wheel mines too, right? With this tire on it, so they can see what the problem is. Then you would buy a new tire, and they could recheck the alignment to make sure it's right. But you don't want to buy a tire now, because if you do, they're not going to see the wear, and they might say, oh, there's nothing wrong. Any good alignment guy is going to see that tire and see, okay, there's a problem with the alignment because of this wear. They'll start checking. They'll be able to adjust it. Then you would replace the tire. He was wondering why the tire kept wearing out on that side. Well, that's why. Now, let's hope, he got this car for nothing, right? Let's hope that this car wasn't in any kind of an accident in the back, because realize, these cars don't have a solid frame. They're unibody. And let's say the frame back there was bent a little bit, well then I'd just say, keep buying cheap tires for the back there and live with it. But a good alignment guy can usually figure out what's wrong. Now, if you do go to an alignment guy and he says, no, it's bent, I can't compensate for how much it's bent. Now, sometimes if it's only bent a few thousandths of an inch, they can compensate for it by adjusting it. But if they say no, they can't, then what you do is, the car runs good enough, just keep buying cheap tire for the right rear. When it wears out, buy another one. I had a customer in Houston, every 7,000 miles, she was buying tires for her BMW. Now, the BMW was a very expensive car. This is back in the 80s. And it was almost kind of like a crab the way it was at an angle. And it was going to cost her about $3,800 to fix it. So she just kept buying tires every 5,000 miles. He's thinking maybe he's just going to go buy the cheapest tires he can and keep putting them on the back. He puts a lot of miles on, hence they wear out on his commute. So that's why the tires are wearing out within a year. But you notice the other tires still had good tread, so he'd only have to be buying one tire. What the heck, if they tell him, oh, it needs all this work done and it's going to be $2,500, hey, just keep buying tires. And then when it starts shaking, then he can buy another tire. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Hafid says, my 2004 Toyota Sienna is overheating. My Sienna is overheating. I changed the radiator, a water pump, and thermostat. What should I do next? Pray. Start praying. Unfortunately, you did the obvious things. If you've changed the radiator, the water pump, and the thermostat, of course, make sure the electric fans are coming on. Maybe they're not working right. Let it sit with the AC on for 10, 15 minutes and watch it, and you should see the cooling fans come on, cool, go off, come back on. If they're not coming on, you need to fix the cooling fans. Pray it's that, because if not, it's often a blowing head gasket. Do my video, how to fix an overheating car engine, Scotty. Just type that in YouTube, watch the video. And the last bit shows you how to check for a blown head gasket. And if the head gasket's starting to blow, that's a big deal. You're going to take the engine apart. But sometimes you can get lucky and use that Bar's head gasket sealer that might seal it for a while, if that's the case. But test it first. See what the problem is. And in my video, type in YouTube, it'll show you every possible reason that your car can be overheating, and you can test them all. Bob81 says, is my engine flooded? I got a Mustang, 35,000 miles. I replaced the valve lifter, put in new manifold gaskets. The engine won't start. I thought I reassembled the distributor incorrectly, but that wasn't the case. Then I noticed the ground wire is disconnected. I connected, but the engine still won't start. Is it possible I flooded it out, or did I do something else wrong? Okay, maybe you flooded it out. If you did, wait till the next day. If it still won't start, it wasn't flooded out. Because to flood out an engine, you get too much gas inside the engine. It will all evaporate if it sits overnight. A flooded engine, all that gas and fumes will evaporate. Now when you try to start it, if it starts, yeah, it was flooded out before. Now if it doesn't start, it could be flooding itself out again. You said it's a 66 Mustang 289 that's got a carburetor. If your carburetor's bad and it keeps flooding the engine out, you're going to have to replace the carburetor. Being that old, I wouldn't attempt to rebuild one. I'd just buy another carburetor. You can get good aftermarket carburetors, so those things brand new for $280, and they work perfectly fine, right? Now, okay, let's say it sat all night. You try to start it. It still doesn't start. pull out a couple of spark plugs. If they're covered with gas and stink of wet gasoline, yeah, time to put another carburetor on it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.